Hey, are you ready to do a ghost up? What? And there's a rock in the chair again. Oh, okay. Well, last time I moved that, she got mad. Maybe I just leave it in there. I'll sit in this chair. Oh, well, I guess the ghost questions are going to have to wait. I promised ghosts to people, though. Hang on. Let's see. Wasn't there that one time in Montana? When was that? 19. Okay, yeah, I guess I can read this one. Uh, all right, let's go. Hello, and welcome to Cryptid Remarks. I am Professor Edward Jeffers, and Wilma has left me to babysit her rock again, so I don't really know where she's at right now. But I do have another story that I'm going to read to you out of a journal. So this is an actual encounter with a spectral cryptid that I had a little while back. So let's just go ahead and get into this. Let's see, June 3rd, 1987. The Wampus cat seems to be healing nicely, and while I have had an amazing time here helping her with her kittens while she was down, I'm afraid I must be off soon. I'll have to try to get back to Glacier National Park to check on all of them in the near future, but duty calls once again. Well, I say duty, but in this case, it's more of a fact-finding mission. Okay, a chance to meet a cryptid that I haven't seen before, but still, no less important than helping out where I'm needed. I received a message today from an old cryptozoologist friend of mine by the name of Byron Shanks, who has asked for my help in finding a Shunkawarrican that has been sighted near the Upper Missouri River Breaks National Monument near Lewiston, Montana. Since I was in the state anyway, I decided to take him up on his offer, and I agreed to meet up with him in a week in Great Falls and drive up to Loma where we would boat along the Missouri River to the location of our search. I'm afraid I was the one who insisted on the long boat trip, as I'm not a big fan of traveling by motorized vehicle, and it took a lot of convincing for me to go to Great Falls to Loma in his truck. He told me that he would have a vehicle waiting for him near Highway 191 where we could go our separate ways and I needn't go any further in one of those accursed things. With a week to get there, I probably have time to swing through the Blackfeet Reservation just to see how things are going there. I'll need to leave soon if I'm going to do that, so I will say my goodbyes to these amazing cats and start on my way. Okay, there's a little bit about that. And we'll go ahead and skip to June 10th, 1987. I found Byron today, not far from where Highway 87 meets Bootlegger Trail. He had thrown up a tent and was camping, waiting for me to arrive. Now, as far as humans go, I think Byron is probably one of my favorites. He's easy to get along with, and I always enjoy exchanging stories with him. He told me a little about the Shunkawarrican that we were going to be looking for. I had already known that it is sometimes called a bear dog due to its unusual size and wolf-like appearance, but I was surprised to hear that Shunkawarrican is considered to be a sacred animal, known to protect the land. Needless to say, I was surprised and thrilled to learn about a wilderness guardian spirit that I hadn't met before now. I really hope we get a chance to meet this creature. After catching up for a little while, we decided to go to sleep early so we could leave as soon as possible in the morning. It's about a 50-mile drive to Loma on Highway 87, then at least as many miles on the river from there to Highway 191. He's asleep in the tent now, and I intend to keep watch for a bit before turning in myself. June 11th, 1987. Well, this day turned out to be a lot more interesting than I expected. We left Great Falls pretty early in the morning after a light breakfast. We weren't 5 miles down the road before I started complaining about sitting in the vehicle. I realize how annoying this probably was for Byron, but my legs were already feeling the inactivity and inability to move. I know it is faster than walking, but I honestly don't understand how humans can prefer this to walking. A few minutes later, we came across a hitchhiker. He looked like he was a Native American with shoulder-length hair, and he was wearing a denim jacket and jeans. I thought it was an odd thing to wear in June, especially since it is warmer today than it was yesterday. Since we were on a timetable, Byron opted not to stop for the gentleman, but as we were passing him on the road, he lunged out in front of the truck. Byron jammed on the brakes and swerved to miss him, but the gentleman left him almost no time to react. I winced as I felt the truck hit him. The entire cab of the truck shook. Once the truck stopped, I jumped out to try to help the man while Byron ran to the front of the truck to assess the damage. When I got around to the back of the truck, I didn't see any sign of the man. I didn't even see any blood where I am sure we hit him. I knelt down and looked under the truck, sure that I would find what was left of him there, but there was nothing there. I was about to head back to the front of the truck to help Byron when I saw the man standing about 20 feet behind the truck. He looked like he hadn't been scratched. There wasn't even blood on his clothes. I carefully approached him. "Are you okay?" I asked, still not believing my eyes. He shrugged his shoulders and gave me an odd look. "I'm fine," he said casually. I continued walking towards him, blinking my eyes as I tried to process what had just happened. "Why did you jump in front of the truck?" He flashed me an otherworldly smile. "It's just what I do," he said, and then just faded from existence. I stood there for a few seconds, looking around for any evidence of the man and finding none. I don't think I was there very long before I heard Byron's voice. "Did you find anything back there?" I went back to the truck, explaining what had happened as I walked. He beckoned me to the front of the truck, and I walked over to look where he was pointing. There was no damage to his truck at all. It was as if nothing had happened. "How is that possible?" I asked incredulously. "We hit him hard enough that the whole cab shook." He sighed and shook his head, chuckling. "Probably the Black Horse Hitcher," he said, pointing to a nearby sign bearing the label Black Horse Lake Flat. "People say a hitchhiker was killed near here, and ever since the hitcher relives his accident when a lone vehicle is heading down this road. I think you're the first person that has actually seen him after they hit him, let alone talk to him." We went back to the truck, and it seemed to start just fine, so we continued our journey to Loma. And it looks like from here it's mostly just talking about the road trip, which was uneventful, and then floating down the river for a while, and maybe I'll read that another time. But I mostly was reading this part so that I could at least get a ghost story in, since we promised something last time we recorded. And we can't really do questions right now. Hopefully Wilma will be back for the next recording, and we can handle them there. But anyway, just looking back at this, for a while I thought about going a little deeper into parapsychology after this, since I actually got to talk to this Black Horse Hitcher. But the rest of the trip just kind of pushed it out of my mind, and I never really got to doing that. I mean, I've learned a little bit about spectral cryptids, but not as much as I would like. Maybe I should look into that a little bit more in the future. Well, I guess that's about it for today. Remember to like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. We are on Facebook if you want to leave us a message there, or you can find us at cryptidremarks@gmail.com if you want to send a question to us that way. We're still on Instagram and Blue Sky, and also Discord. So feel free to contact us and send in questions, and when we can both be here, we'll answer them. So, yeah, have a good day. I'm going to have a talk with her about these rocks and leaving them everywhere. I don't understand what is up with that. You've been listening to Cryptid Remarks. The part of Professor Edward Jeffers was played by Jeffrey Morton. The part of Wilma Chronicle was played by Kimberly Morton. All music was written by Ruben Fansler. Sound editing by Jeffrey Morton and Ruben Fansler. Our web guru is Aaron Milosic. If you have any questions you would like us to cover, contact us at cryptidremarks@gmail.com or link to our Discord through cryptidremarks.com. Thank you for listening. And don't worry, I probably don't exist either.